event unfolded, I in my post, I described it somewhat as a religious experience. I'm a pastor, so I'm engaged in coordinating an event where people will engage and feel what we hope the message will be received at the end. And so it's obvious that the event planners had done a great job of doing that as well. So going into that, we saw the whole movement. At one point, I was kind of joking around with my kid about the magnificent song "God Bless the USA" and how people were rallying with that and responding. And it was a really lively experience for my kid to be a part of.
The part of it that really caught so much attention was there was a protester in front of you, there were protesters near you, 2 women who had children with them. One of them had a disabled child with them. And describe what you saw in the reaction.
So they were not really being disruptive. I would say they were speaking at a voice almost like what I'm speaking at now, but the people around them suddenly reacted very quickly, very angrily, screaming in their face, holding signs up, trying to prohibit them. People were motioning with their arms for security to come and remove them, some of what we had seen in some of the campaign events. And I noticed from the corner of my eye that one of the men became very aggressive, very angry, and that's the portion I described as demonic. You don't have that kind of anger in a reaction to something that happens in your day-to-day event.
And you actually sort of stepped in between some of these protesters, and tell me what happened and what led your daughter to tears.
Well, I was reading again this morning in a passage of my scripture reading that I was reading from Micah that talks about, the heart of God is that we would act justly, that we would love mercy, we would walk humbly. And in that moment, even in that event, there was this injustice happening, and I just reacted. I moved in, I just positioned myself between the people that were interacting, and at one point the vitriol was really screamed in my face and shared at me. And I just spoke calmly. I said, these ladies aren't hurting anyone. They're not breaking any laws. They have the right to be here. And I said, just let them do it. I said, ignore them.
But you did notice, you did note that two of the women that you said that to actually did turn around. One man certainly did not. The protesters eventually left. I'm sure that wasn't the experience you wanted your daughter to see, but what was the takeaway for you, even not being a Trump supporter, but what was the takeaway real quick? I'm running out of time here, but I want you to tell me sort of what the takeaway was for you.
The takeaway for me is that we have a nation right now that is very emotionally involved with the decisions that are taking place. And I think I can speak at least to my tribe, people who follow the teachings and the ways of Jesus, that we have a responsibility to not allow our own desires for safety and security get in the way of justice. Scripture is very clear in how we are to love our neighbors. And sometimes that means that we have to do some things that are awkward for us or not maybe in our official DNA, but we have to make choices that allow us to serve those that are not like us. And my kids learned a lot from that experience by watching and hearing the story, and now even seeing the reactions. And I think as a nation, we have a credible opportunity to take a shift away from all of the anger and say, who do we really want to be as people? Do we want to be good neighbors? Do we want to love people? Do we want our neighborhoods and our communities to be safe and strong and secure? That's got to change by the way churches and Christian people react to all of the violence and the hate that's being spread.
Well, we appreciate you being with us. And I do just want to clarify, because of the use of the word demonic, you had described the behavior of some of the crowd members as that way. The headlines took that word because that was used in your post. But Pastor Joel Tooley, thank you so much. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
And